Well, it's here. Today is the day. We got the big WASD USDA data dump report day. Gonna see how these markets move. It's a historic. Sometimes we have big moves on today. Sometimes we don't. You never know what's gonna happen. I don't know. We'll talk about it. Dig into it here later. Got lots of headlines overnight. 45Z, some interim type guidance. Today's also the day, big day for Trump. Some sentencing stuff going on. We'll see if we get into that. Had weekly exports data as well, employment data. Big football game last night. Another one today. Hope you showed up to the right game. A couple guys from Ohio State showed up to the wrong game yesterday, apparently. And we'll dive into some tweet of the weeks here. But overnight, let's jump into your markets, talk about where they're at right now. Give you a snapshot. March corn is up a penny at 4.57. March beans are up 6 3/4, 7 cents at 10.06. Soybean oil is up a buck. Soybean meal down 2.5. Wheat's down 2 3/4 on Chicago. March wheat 5.31 1/4. March KC wheat 5.48 3/4, down a penny and a half. Feeders are hot, hot, hot. January feeders 271.25 up $2. March feeders up $1.47.5. Not quite as strong as the Jans. Live cattle up 60 points, 198.20 on Feb. Live cattle lean hogs are up 52.5. Diesel or crude market. Look at that crude market. Holy mackerel, up 3.23 on your crude, $77 a barrel. Diesel's up 12 cents. Nat gas up 21 cents. Your energy markets are hot. The stock market rolling over. Down. The Dow is down 570 points. The S&P down 95, and the Nasdaq down 400. What a market we got going on here this morning, Connor B. Wow. I didn't realize the equity. I hadn't even looked at the equities yet. That's equities and energies moving on here. Bring him in, Connor B. Where you at?
That's why we go live, because yesterday I would have said, okay, this show, we're going to talk about historical price action with this USDA report, numbers that are jumping out at us. What do the analysts think? And then we get this whole 45Z, right? We're going to get some type of rhetoric released today. It just builds itself. There's always different topics, right? Sometimes we've got to reach, we've got to try and do filler. Today's not one of those days, right? We've got
no filler today.
No fillers. But the USDA report, it's going to be the biggest data release of the year, right? We're going to get the final yield number, right? Whatever they print today is what will be traded forever for 24 crop, right? Whatever they decide to print. Last year, if you remember, we were outside of trade estimates. We thought we had a decent corn crop. The USDA told us January of last year that it was a record corn crop, right? This year will now be a new record, barring it would be about a 7 bushel drop, I think, on corn. And then who knows on soybeans, right? That's the big one. But it looks like average analysts, we're looking for a little bit, trimming the corn yield again ever so slightly. So I guess my question for you, Brady, is if we see corn yield being let's say USDA does what analysts think, we trim the corn yield. Is March futures, is the corn futures market already have that priced in, right? Is this rally kind of already have that number baked in?
That's a good question, Connor B. I don't know. I think we'll take anything bullish. It's just what if we come in flat or disappoint a little bit from under those analysts? If we don't get the cuts we want or anticipate, that would be disappointing. But I don't know. I'm optimistic, Connor B.
I like it. And that's the thing with these USDA reports, right? I think a lot of times is that we could have the numbers ahead of time and still lose money trading, because not only we got to know what numbers the USDA is going to hit us with, we've also got to know how is the trade going to react, right? Bullish number on paper, and we could see a bearish market reaction. It's happened many times before.
It has, yeah.
I'm going off on a tangent. Oh, go ahead.
Let's talk about right now. Prepare. We're right here, 9:00 a.m. We're going to be on 3 times today, or ATI is going to be live streaming 3 times today. We got the Prepare, the Live at 9 session that we're doing. We're going to be back at 10:45. Break down what the report reaction. Watch that report reaction. Make sure you're joining us at 10:45, 11 o'clock for that report. We got a little window to work in between there, Connor B. And then the A team is coming back at 1:30, and they're going to be talking about deeper dive into those numbers. That's kind of our schedule here today. Big day going forward, though.
Yeah, So you'll be seeing a lot of us, hopefully, right? Feel free, make sure you tune in if you want to. But first off, let's go through kind of the surprise headline, or at least for me, is that we're going to see some type of short-term guidance on the clean fuel tax credit, right? Biden administration is supposed to release something today. As of right now, I don't think we've seen what those numbers are, but boy, did the soy oil market like it, huh?
Oh gosh, Lee, overnight oil jumping up. Good to see breaking out. I was hoping beans would follow a little bit more so than they have been.
Yeah.
But the charts for bean oil and soybeans look very different. Bean oil spiking up dramatically higher, and soybeans catching a little bid. It's good to see they're getting a bid, but yeah.
I guess my takeaway is when I read this snippet, right? Biden administration is expected to release short-term guidance on clean fuel tax credits today, but final decisions will be made by the Trump administration. Clean fuel tax credits initially were introduced during the Inflation Reduction Act, which Trump has said he plans to end. So, right, this is kind of, I look at this, and number one, we still don't know exactly what the guidance is, but it's a little bit like it feels like a Band-Aid to me, right? We had that blending tax credit end when 2024 ended. So we were kind of in limbo, right? So I look at this as they're going to get some type of guidance, but ultimately it is going to be on the Trump administration to decide how they want to continue with any type of RFS mandates, any type of biodiesel. So I guess it's good to see a nice bullish reaction in soy oil, but it kind of surprised me that we saw this violent of a move upward, and also disappointing that we couldn't see soybeans follow.
Yeah. We'll see how it all plays out here, but that used cooking oil deal and 45Z, that's a big thing and would be huge for the bean market. Absolutely. So hopefully we get it. I don't know.
Yeah.
The timing is impeccable, though. The January 10th, we got a crop report at 45Z all in the same day. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So you'd be, if you're looking at the soybean market for the next 12 months, right? Because we talk a lot about this Jan 10th report. It's the biggest data dump, yada, yada. Guess what? We still have 355 days left of 2025. And if we look at that soybean market, right, some type of policy, right? We're going to hope for something friendly, the soybean market, but even the lack of policy, it's going to be very important to the soybean market in 2025. So not to knock this USDA report. We've been talking about it for a month, I think. But let's make sure, right? Once this report's over, I think everyone's going to start looking forward, right? Then we're going to start talking about, hey, Jan 20th, we see the Trump administration take office, and things move very quickly. So
yeah, I think my theme today is don't let the USDA screw you over. Don't be in a position where the USDA can come in and hurt you. So that's something to think about going forward into this report, and it's a big report. But it's you look back 20 years ago, we didn't have Twitter. We didn't have, information just traveled differently. And this report was very significant. The old trading places, Beaks coming in with the deal, the numbers, and you get the numbers, you digest them, you break it down. You got to call your broker and see what's going on, what's happened. That's old school. That's different. We can have a tweet any day of the week now that can move this market up, down, limit, and change the game. So yeah, it's a big day today. But tomorrow's a big day too. Next week's a big day, and we can't predict what the heck's going to get printed on any day in this world, Connor.
Yeah, I like it. Well said. Well, let's go ahead and pop up the numbers real quick, just looking at them. And so all eyes, right? The attention grabber is going to be, what are we going to see for corn and soybean yield, right? And then on top of that, are we going to see corn production pulled back? Are we going to see carry out? It's something like 4 or 5 it might be more than that we've seen the USDA pull back on corn ending stocks, right? I think if they do it again for this January report, it'll be maybe the first time we've seen it in 20 years that we've seen them trim ending stocks this many times in a row. And so I think the one thing that we can't ignore, right? We're going to be the attention's going to be U.S. production. But what's the USDA going to say for South America for Brazil soybean production, right? It could be a wild card. We're expecting them to increase, especially Brazil soybean production, but that'll be the other one that's on my radar.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Going to get a ton of numbers. Going to take a lot to go through them, and I rely on people smarter than me to tell me what it all means. Definitely, but
and
yeah,
here, just go ahead. Sorry.
the winter wheat season. I'm very curious to see how much wheat we got in the ground, what that looks like, and as well as the quarterly grain stocks number, how many bushels we've chewed through thus far, and where that situation sits at too.
Yeah, and that's a good one, because when we say this is a big data dump, right? We've got we're going to get the most recent U.S. corn and soybean harvest, U.S. quarterly stocks, U.S. winter wheat seedings, and global supply and demand updates. So it's just that perfect storm where we get a whole lot of information. And we had a good premium with Michael Reginelli yesterday, and to quote him, right, this the policy long term, but maybe for the next couple 4 to 8 weeks, next couple months, right, we could really set the tone for this corn market, especially, right? It'd be nice to see a nice friendly report. I don't want the legs chopped up from underneath of us on this corn market, right? Let's keep the rally going. So I think that's what we're hoping for if we're going to be a corn bowl.
Yep, definitely. Let's look at those historical. That was a great premium. I am so excited to have Michael Reginelli on and put you guys
We got to have him back
together.
on, don't we?
It's good stuff. Those commercial guys, they're smart and they look at things from a different angle and they see a lot of things, big picture, macro level, and the cash side of things. I love listening to them. It's one of those. His episode is one of those kind of like Dr. Cruz's, where I listen to it once and then I got to come back and I got to listen to it again because it just I'm just slow, Connor. So. But let's look at those historical report reactions with the price movement. Pull those in and see what the market does here.
Yeah,
I'll click it.
Yep.
There we go. All right, so we've seen some big moves in this market. Look at that bean back in 2009 and 2011. We've seen some significant moves on the bean market, the corn market. Lately, though, I don't know, 10 cents, less than 20 cent type moves. That's a little uninspiring, saying this report hasn't moved it the last couple of years. But will this be the year that we see that one of those bigger moves? I don't know.
Right. Time will tell. And I mean, I guess maybe it's a testament to the volatility that this report brings, because last year, right, we saw corn down, I can't remember, 12, 15 cents. It was definitely a bearish kind of surprise that we saw. But in the grand scheme of things, right, you go back to those 2011 price movements, it doesn't look all that volatile. But I think if we saw a 20-cent price movement today, we'd say, okay, that's the biggest move we've seen in a while, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah, but you know what? At the end of the day, those USDA numbers, Connor B, they're gonna be
wrong.
I've been sitting on that one. Yeah. The Trump sentencing is also today. 45Z report day, and then the 34 count Trump sentencing, that's also today. And if you go in and read what's potentially going to happen, is basically nothing. He'll get convicted, but they aren't going to charge. We just
what's it mean?
On.
What's it mean? Yeah, but great stuff. But anyway,
nobody cares.
You guys
got more. Okay,
those never fail to crack me up. Hey, let's do. I like us trying to roll out the segment. We did it last week, and we had a couple of good ones. Right, tweet of the week. What both of us just whether it just catches our eye, people are talking about it. It's educational, right? Do we have those loaded up? Right, I think we each had a decent one.
Yeah, let's pull your bean one in first. This video, I'll pull it in. I'll click the button if you guys are good with it. Look at this video here. This is I'm gonna give the credit where credit's due. This is his handle. Whoever tweeted it down in South America, looking at Brazil beans. Look at those beans.
Look at it. Like, is this standard for? I mean, those. I don't know how tall that guy is, but we're looking at 5-foot soybeans. I mean, my gosh.
Yeah. Back to my agronomy days, though, looking at beans, it was the hardest crop to do a yield estimate on because they they'd be 20 bushels, they could be 80 bushels. Sometimes those little tiny 1, 2, 3 foot tall beans, they'd be the big yielders. And then these ginormous beans. You know what I'd love is to run those beans through a cow, Connor. Let's chop them babies up and turn them into some forage, some cow
That's
chow.
that's the truth. The soybean bulls are going to tell me, hey, well, height doesn't matter that much on yield, and they're right. But I was just like, my gosh, I've never seen a soybean plant that tall.
Yeah.
Interesting. What you got?
The other one here is the I'm always a dreamer of building a new house and a lot. This guy's building a house out of a grain bin in Nebraska. I'm gonna pop his handle up there too. Blazing Acres, Blazing Farms there is his Twitter handle. Look at this. That's a pretty cool deal, Connor.
It looks like a project, and I think once it's done, that's going to be amazing. I couldn't imagine framing something out with no right angles, just going in a circle. You got to cut the windows out with a torch, but man, what a project! That's going to be cool.
Yeah, it looks so cool. I love that spiral staircase and that window there. And yeah, a lot of work though. You've done renovation projects with your rental as your rental mogul and real estate mogul. So you like the renovations.
I like when it's over. I like doing it, but then when I'm in the middle of it, I'm like, what, Connor? Why didn't you pay someone to do this?
Yeah, that's our any of our projects are. Yeah, we can paint that. We get the paint and we start going, get one wall done. It's like, why are we doing this again?
Exactly.
What does it cost to get somebody to come in here and finish this project?
Oh man, good stuff. Well,
one more. I got one more for you.
Oh yeah.
If I can find it, it's a Kobesi letter talking about inflation. This one's a little more serious, on a serious note, but the Kobesi letter is a great follow, pumping out lots of macro information. But the Fed's worst nightmares begun. New ISM data, a key leading indicator for CPI, shows prices paid for purchasing managers at 22-month high. The last time ISM prices paid for this high, inflation in the U.S. was at 6% in February of 23. And he's got a good chart there that shows some correlation to the ISM CPI. Don't know the accuracy of it all. His chart looks good, but inflation 2.0 is definitely something on the radar for anybody, all of us, but especially, is that kind of friendly to the grain markets if we have an inflation type of trade going forward? Feeding the bulls, definitely today. Feeding the bulls.
Let's do it. I hope so. So, well, we got to, we're going to be back here at 10:45. Let's answer a few. I think we got a few questions. We'll run through them. Let's get out of here. So, Luke, what market do you think 45Z guidance matters more to, corn or oilseeds? Could it push canola acres back to the Dakotas? Good point. I think it definitely matters. I don't know what you think, Brady, but definitely matters more to oilseed, soybean market, right? That's the one it could affect, we hope positively, but it could be, if we don't get the direction, or, maybe we get some type of rhetoric, but it doesn't necessarily just push for soybeans, right? If we see more, I don't really see this happening for 2025, looking at more used cooking oil imports, but it's on the table. So I'd say more friendly oil seeds. And then as far as more canola acres back to the Dakotas, that'd be, that's kind of the long-term shift, right? Could we see, if we see a huge push for biodiesel, right? One can hope maybe it does switch some acres.
Yep. Well, having some guidance there for that, renewable energy and, ag-based energy in the U.S. domestic demand, that's the biggest piece of the puzzle there. And then you look over at the energy market, look at crude oil at $77. Where does that go? If we got $30 crude and we got $70, $80, $100 crude, that's a whole different scenario too. So, but 45Z, it matters. And I'd say it's big for all of them on the, helping with that domestic demand. It's huge.
Yep, definitely. Inflation should be good for stocks and grains, you would think. Farmer Brett, we can always hope, right? When we hear inflation, for the economy, we get a little nervous. But in terms of grains, right, typically bigger inflation is good for commodity markets. So,
it's that. Yeah, to me, it's that curveball. It's that, hey, it's doom and gloom. 450 is a good number here. But if we get into that inflationary cycle, if you lock in 450 corn and haven't bought your inputs, what's your operating cost over the coming year? And you got to be careful in that environment when you have that rapid inflation that you're not getting the cart ahead of the horse there with some of those things. And inflation could be that wild card that changes the game big time over the next 12 to 18 months.
Oh, here we go. What's it going to take for coyote furs to be worth something again? We used to ship them to Canada. Now it's not worth picking them up. Make coyote furs great again. Should I be buying my coyote puts?
I love that you say coyote, Connor. I've never heard anybody say the E on the
Coyote,
end of coyote. Coyote, yeah, that's that cracks me up. Yeah, I don't turn them in anywhere, but my days of coyote hunting are long behind me with the kids coming in. Farmer Brett, have you ever went hunting coyotes, Connor B?
Not seriously.
That's
We at my parents' house, you'll see them, but no, I've never went on like the roundups or anything like that. Never have.
Gotcha. They're hardcore out here in Western Kansas for sure. The silencers, the thermals, and it'd be a lot of fun. You used to not be able to hunt them at night legally in Kansas, but they changed that a couple years ago. And I don't know, it's a fun time.
I bet it'd be especially with the thermals, right? Those are really cheap, aren't they? Getting those thermal scopes.
We need an ATI Pro Media coyote hunt up there with Farmer Brett. We'll get
Now we're
Luke
talking.
and Nathan Russ out there. The whole gang.
Now we're talking. All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up. We'll be back here at 10:45. Yeah, we'll see. Right, 11 o'clock. We'll have some news, and then we'll probably have a premium based on. I'd imagine it'll be kind of reactionary, is what our premium will be. Right. Let's digest the numbers and then give some guys some where do we go from here type of thing. But yeah,
we'll be back at 10:45. Button up. Things can get a little Western. See y'all.
See ya.